If there's something that we are all guilty of, it's probably this. I'm sure if ever you are like building a business or starting something new, you probably have done this once or twice before, where you see yourself not achieving the goals that they promised you. They said you're gonna get to 10K in 3 months, all of these things. And you are doing everything. You are outreaching, you are like writing copy, you're sending free value, you're doing all of the things, but then you are just not getting the goals that you want. You're not achieving what you want to achieve. And this does not mean like you're not doing anything right, you're doing something wrong, or the strategy you're using that doesn't work. It may be the case, but most often it's not. It is simply because you're a beginner and you're gonna suck. That's definitely it. You cannot start a subject today and expect to be an expert in like 3 months. It doesn't work like that. Even a mere degree takes 3 years. A degree that wouldn't even get a job, or after attaining it, you won't get a job. But then it takes 3 years. So if you get into business, you somehow expect to make money within the first 3 months of you working. Like, I struggled with this a lot. I used to beat myself up. Oh, you're not good enough. You're not working hard enough. Why are people succeeding? Why are you not succeeding? What is it that is wrong? Until I understood that right now it's working time, and I need to put in the work. I need to put in the reps to see the results. Like, I'm just planting seeds, planting things that I want to see. But then that does not mean that you're gonna plant today and harvest tomorrow. It doesn't happen. Like, nowhere in the world that's gonna happen. So after a few months, especially now, I recently started getting people in my DMs, new copywriters, also saying, oh, I'm gonna land this client soon. And what happens when you don't land that client? You become discouraged. It is hurting, it is painful, because you're doing all of these things, yet you don't see the results that you want. And like I said, it's not because you're doing something wrong, it's simply because you haven't been doing it for a long time. You are just not good enough. You haven't done enough volume for you to see the rewards or the benefits of doing that thing. It's like going to the gym for a week and expecting to have a six-pack the next Monday. It's not gonna happen. Nowhere in reality, nowhere on planet Earth that's gonna happen. The same thing applies for business. And I want to mention this like paradox of Stockdale James. I'm not sure if you guys know him, but basically it talks about the thing that the optimists die first. So this came about when he was a prisoner of war in Vietnam, and he had to like be there. And what he did and observed is that the people who thought that the rescuers were coming the next day, and then when those rescuers didn't come, they felt discouraged. They felt like, oh my god, am I gonna die? Why are they not here yet? Because they were too optimistic to look at the reality of the situation. As much as they wanted to be rescued, it was not possible for the rescuers to come the next day. And as days went by, they felt even more discouraged. They gave up, they lost hope, they lost faith in themselves, and eventually they died. So you don't want to do this to yourself. You don't want to compare yourself with other people and thinking you're also going to get the same results as them. As much as we are doing the same thing, we might be learning from the same person. We are different. We are on different journeys. We don't have the same background. Someone might be writing for their interlife, and when they get into the copywriting space, they just flow and their results are good. They get clients here and there. They might be working for a niche they like. They might be doing all of these things. And you don't know that. And for you to just compare yourself to them and thinking that you're doing something wrong, you should change, you should quit, that is just a sign of you like being weak and not being able to see the reality of things. Because as much as you want to be optimistic, you must look at your personal capabilities. I've talked about this in my recent videos, that even if you want to achieve all of these things, you want to work 8 hours a day, you want to do 100 outreaches a day, you are not at that level yet. Yes, you can push through to do 10, 20, 30, 40, and eventually get to 100. But forcing your body to do like 100 the first day you hear about copywriting, it's gonna be painful. Yes, we should strive to push through pain because that's how we grow. But then you must be like pessimistic a bit. Know that this might take longer than you thought. It might be way harder than you thought. And it may be like a lot more painful than you thought, because people like glamorize the idea of having a business. It's nice, it's fun. Yes, it's nice when you start reaping the rewards, but then when you're still working, when you're at the bottom where you don't know what you're doing, where you're just trying things and you think like nothing is working, that thing hurts. It's painful. And for you to be able to go far and like stay in the game for a long time, you have to understand that if you're optimistic, you're gonna die first. You're not gonna get the results that you want. Let's say you wanna get into 10K in 3 months. Let's give that example. If 3 months come by, you haven't made like 1K, let alone making 5K or something that's close to 10K. You haven't done anything, and you see all of these people still achieving results, you're gonna feel discouraged, and only to find out that if you stayed for a bit more longer, maybe for an extra 5 months, an extra 6 months, you might have been able to achieve that. But the fact that you were too optimistic, you kind of like shrink the time that you wanted to achieve your goals in. It kind of cancels everything that you would have been able to achieve after getting discouraged. I've seen this a lot with myself, because when I started my copywriting journey in December last year, I was working, and then when February came around, I was like, okay, I've been doing this for almost 3 months now. Why don't I have results? And I kind of like regressed, and then I came back, and then I started seeing results. It was not because I was doing the work wrong. Of course, maybe I learned a few things along the way, but then most of it was just that I was not good enough yet. I was just a beginner. No one would like trust me enough. I was just not there. I just hadn't like planted the seeds. So you also have to look at yourself and see what is it that you're trying to achieve. Try to be pessimistic. If you think something's gonna take 3 years, double that to 6 years. That way you're able to give yourself enough like perception, of a better perception actually, where you see, okay, if this is gonna take 6 years, let me just work hard enough to make it 3 years. Because if you say this is gonna take 3 years, 3 years is just too it's too small. You might lose hope along the way, and when the 9th month of the second year comes by and you're like, I'm heading to 3 years, I haven't even seen progress in one of my goals, you're gonna give up. You would want to quit. You see? So it all comes down to having like a pessimistic sort of mindset for you to go around it, and for you to become better at whatever you're trying to achieve. So yeah, this is the end of this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.